Hey y'all. Last year, I made the discovery of a woman named Brie Larson. I had no idea who she was other than she was starring in the upcoming Marvel movie, Captain Marvel. Being a new fan of Marvel, I was looking forward to seeing the movie as well as Avengers Endgame after it. However, I noticed before Captain Marvel came out that there was a bunch of buzz popping up online of people, mostly reactionaries, saying how awful of a person Brie Larson is, and how Captain Marvel was gonna bomb. How she was single-handedly going to spell the end of the MCU as we know it. Dang. Well, what did she do? Did she promote Stalinism? Did she murder somebody? Did she support the police brutality in Hong Kong? Did she say epitome instead of epitome? What did she do? What? She was giving a presentation at an awards show and said she doesn't need to hear a 40-year-old white dude's opinions on A Wrinkle in Time. Well, sure. On the surface, that seems very mean. But the quote was taken out of context as she was giving a speech on how there's a lack of diversity in film critics, and how a majority of non-white critics don't get a chance to review movies that are aimed at that specific audience. Oh, problem solved then. Her quote was taken out of context and now people know the full speech. We can go back to not obsessively hating random celebrities, right? Of course not. People took what Brie said and ran with it. Made her out to be a woman who hates white men. This overload of Brie Larson hate even made its way to normal people, as I had even friends and mutuals telling me how awful Brie Larson is, and I had to show them that the reason people hate her was being exaggerated. Now granted, I do think she could have worded what she said a little better, but am I really gonna fault a girl just for saying something out of frustration? I've said worse things out of frustration. Who hasn't? Aren't we all guilty of that? We're only human. But it didn't stop there. They started to watch interviews with her and other Avengers cast members, and how they supposedly hate Brie just because Jeremy Renner lucked off to the side for a few seconds, and Chris Hemsworth and Don Cheadle were making jabs at her. Also, how she is a horrible person for claiming she did her own stunts, even though she was just joking, cause clearly there are pictures of her taken with her stunt double. Say, aren't these the same people always complain that you can't joke anymore without people getting offended and overreacting? Huh. So, even after Captain Marvel grossed over $1 billion and showing that you don't go broke going woke, the geeks still had it out for Brie, following her everywhere she goes, trying to set fire to everything she does, bound and determined to make her out to be the most awful woman, no, most awful person who ever lived. Even getting to the point where even when most of them were called out for supposedly not caring about Brie, yet making hundreds of videos on her, they flat admitted to their own fans that they're just doing it for ad revenue. All because she committed the sin of wanting more representation in film criticism. How shameful. And since last year, anything Brie does, you never hear the end of it from people. She can't even be in a car commercial without pissing people off. A car commercial! And even one of my best friends from Romania had to tell me that he had to hear a local radio show even complaining about a commercial that aired in a completely different continent from where he is. Is it controversial to say that the hate against Brie Larson is getting a little out of hand? Throughout all this nonsense, I could never get myself to hate or even slightly dislike Brie. I watched most of the footage and interviews people complained about, and I just couldn't see what was so bad about her. At times, she comes off as socially awkward and sometimes takes some questions the wrong way, but is that really worth getting super heated over? People complain that the President of the United States gets too much hate from the media who are desperate to make him look bad. I'd argue that Brie gets it worse. At this rate, it ain't grasping for straws, it's grasping for the wrappers. And I'm just talking on the surface level here, but this hate goes even deeper. There's actual conspiracy theories about how Captain Marvel really wasn't a success, as Disney paid into its own movie to bump up the box office revenue, and photos surfaced online taken by the same dude bros claiming that they were gonna boycott the movie, which was of empty theaters during showings. One wonders why Disney didn't do this to their other movies of theirs that bombed, and nobody seemed to question how men who are 18 to 24 are awake at night when most people are asleep, or you could just be in theaters in the middle of nowhere, but hey, I'm just using common sense here. So, as you can gather, Brie Larson ain't the most liked person on the internet for reasons. It's pretty much become a subgenre on YouTube of Brie Larson hate videos. Make a hate video on her, and you're guaranteed a bunch of rage clicks by viewers who were told to hate her by the same people who started the hate for her based on one out-of-context sentence. Heck, there's probably even gonna be people clicking on this video thinking it's another hit piece on her, which, hi if you're still here, mind sticking around? I've even stumbled across videos that were made by people that had little to nothing to do with Captain Marvel or Brie. They were just talking about a completely different topic, and yet somehow they managed to bring her into it and give the video a clickbaity title because they just knew the video was going to get a lot of ad revenue that way. I wondered why one woman could get so much hate from a group of people who otherwise wouldn't have known who she was if she wasn't a member of the MCU. It didn't take me long to figure out why she's hurting the necks of all these geeks from all the free real estate she's taken up in their heads. The Brie Larson hate is a symptom of this new trend of videos that was starting up leading up to the 2016 presidential election. I took notice in 2015 when a lot of the atheist YouTubers I used to watch did a 180 and stopped focusing so much on making fun of evangelicals and right-wing media heads, and instead started focusing more on cringy feminists and LGBTQ YouTubers. And I was like, huh, that's weird. I phased out of them, but then I started noting a new type of video popping up titled SJW/feminist cringe compilations. And I started watching some of these. It wasn't long before I discovered people like Paul Joseph Watson, Ben Shapiro, and PragerU, and I noticed my usual left-leaning political opinions started to be questioned by myself, and I became increasingly more hostile towards certain things I didn't normally before. It was a dark time in my life. I don't like talking about it. However, this new line of reactionary content started popping up in geek and gamer circles. Channels that you usually go to for gaming and entertainment news were all of a sudden starting to make everything related to media news as political issues. Having a black guy in the main role? That's an issue. Having an LGBTQ character? That's an issue. Having a woman character? That's an issue. Granted, these geeks channels never reached into outright Nazi territory, for the most part. But it was pretty clear that normally something that they wouldn't have had issues with before were now all of a sudden big deals and signs that diversity was ruining geek culture. Oh no. But hey, these geeks didn't hate women. They always said Kill Bill, Terminator 2, and Aliens were some of their favorite movies. Yeah, call me when you watched all the Pitch Perfect movies and proved to me women really don't bother you. Turns out, it's a very lucrative market to be a reactionary on YouTube. For one thing, with the political climate being the way it is, it's easy to cater to a fan base who are mad about more non-white, non-male, non-straight people invading their safe spaces. For one thing, it's pretty easy content to make. Just pretend to read an article relating to some comic book, movie, or game news, and completely misconstrued it, missing the point of it completely. Also, nothing wrong with what the article was saying. Well, make it sound like there's something wrong with it. MCU head Kevin Feige said he wants to hire more female directors to make Marvel movies. Just why about how they're hiring people based on sex rather than talent? Even though that implies that you're saying women can't be talented directors, but hey, no need to worry about that. Think of the ad revenue. This kind of content being easy to produce also makes it easy to churn out multiple videos a day, meaning YouTube's algorithm will reward you handsomely. Don't forget to talk really slow and pad out your video to that 10-minute mark so that you can put mid-roll ads on it. Also buy our t-shirts. Yeah, I think you're getting the idea. I like to hope that Brie really isn't hated by these geek and gamer types. I don't even want to believe that they're really that political if all they have time to talk about is games, comic books, movies, and TV shows. Like the Reply Girls, reaction videos, and commentary videos of the past, these reactionary, or gritter videos I call them, are just the newest trend made to take advantage of the broken YouTube algorithm and a fan base who eats it all up. However, reading some of the comments of these videos and getting a glimpse at the kind of people that watch them, It's clear that the wrong people get the wrong ideas and take this stuff to the next level. I would expect these geeks to take time to take some responsibility and maybe not encourage their fans to harass others and take these videos too seriously and make it clear that they're just for entertainment purposes. If you think I'm barking up the wrong tree, just look at what happened to Daisy Ridley, James Gunn, and Kelly Marie Tran. But hey, it's only cancel culture if it happens to people you like, right? And I don't think the origins of the Brie Larson hate stop with the geeks and the gamers. I can think back to YouTube in 2009 when the fun things to hate on were High School Musical, Hannah Montana, the Jonas Brothers, and Justin Bieber. Heaven knows I'm guilty of the same thing. So it's easy to see why this trend of overreacting to movie stars and geeks news is such a popular trend now. It's fun to have an enemy that you and your buddies can band together to hate on. Like the media we consume, we want to be the heroes of our own stories, whether the people receiving our hate deserve it or not. So tying this all back to Brie, she's just the newest victim of people's beef against celebrities who are fun to hate. And had she been in the news 10 years ago, there's a strong chance I would have fallen for it and hated her just cuz. But I'm older now, and I have the ability to give people the benefit of the doubt. And all the stuff I've looked up on Brie, there ain't nothing there. She's a pretty cool and nice woman. I've seen interviews where she cracks jokes that get legit laughs out of me. She takes time to interview people who don't normally get interviewed. She's one of the few celebrities out there who uses her platform for good, as she feels it doesn't make sense of people with all her power to not say or do anything. She's good buddies with Samuel L. Jackson. We can all agree Samuel L. Jackson is cool, right? Anyone he's friends with is cool with me. And plus, look at her, she's playing with puppies. How can anyone who loves puppies be a bad person?
I hate cats.
Alright, gonna have to dock you points for that one. The moral of the story is, if somebody's being overly hated on, maybe look more into them and see more of who they are for yourselves. If you find nothing but problematic stuff, and the only people who defend them are those who are problematic themselves, chances are, yeah, they're probably a bad person. But if you just find that they're pretty normal, and it was just one thing they said or did that got blown out of proportion, then yeah, the hate is most likely exaggerated. I guess I got to thank all the Brie Larson hate in a way for getting me to check out who she is, cause I legit was curious as to why people were hating on her so much. I can relate to people who get a lot of unfair hate, if you catch my drift. And now, she's become one of my favorite actresses, and I love finding movies of hers to check out. And now, I simp for three girls: Halle Berry, Doopie Doover, and Brie Larson. Nobody lay a finger on my queens. And if you come out of this video still hating Brie Larson, that's perfectly fine. I ain't asking you to leave this feeling like you have to like her just cause I said so. But at least go now having a new perspective to judge others yourself rather than parroting what some geeks on the internet told you to think about somebody. It ain't fair for other people to be the determining factor on how we as individuals should view others. Also, be cautious of clickbaity reactionary content. They don't care about telling the truth. They just want your clicks. There's more well-crafted, honest, and genuine content better worth your time. Go out and give them some love, not people who just want to project hate. But hey, seeing as how Brie Larson has a YouTube channel now and she's quickly gaining more subscribers than the channels that tried to put her down, and those reactionaries don't know how to handle it, is just proof that there really is justice in this world, and that you can find more optimism and happiness underneath all the drama and hatred. You just gotta know where to look. Stay loony, my toonies.